Hello students, welcome to my channel Biology by SM Gaud. My name is Setu Madhav Gaud. Students, today we are going to discuss about the structure of neuron. The structure of neuron. Neuron is also called as nerve cell. Neuron is also called as nerve cell. Nerve cell is the structural and functional unit of nervous system. Nervous cell is the structural and functional. It is the structural and functional unit of nervous system. It is the longest cell in the human body. So nerve cell is the longest cell in the human body. I am talking about only human body. In human body, as you know, the smallest cell is sperm cell and the largest cell is worm or egg cell. But the longest cell, lengthwise longest cell is the nerve cell or neuron. The name neuron was coined by German anatomist Wilhelm Waldeier in 1819. In 1819, there was a scientist Wilhelm Waldeier. He was a German anatomist. He coined the name neuron for the first time. So if you look at the neuron, the typical neuron consists of two parts. That means the neuron is divided into basically two parts. One is the cell body. The cell body is also called as cyton, or also called as soma, also called as perikaryon. So these four names belong to the cell body. And the second part is neuronal processes or neurites. Neuronal processes or neurites. These neurites or neuronal processor, all the extension of the neuron are called neuronal processor or neurites. So these are the extensions. And these neurites or neuronal processes are divided into two types: dendrites or dendrons and axon. So a typical neuron is basically divided into two parts: cell body and neuronal processes. And neuronal processes also again divided into two parts: dendrites and axon. So if you see the size of the neuron, what is the size of the neuron? The cell body. So this is the cell body. This cell body size is 100 microns. 100 microns or 0.1 millimeter in diameter. So the cell body is the size is the 100 microns or 0.1 millimeter in diameter, and this is the axon. This axon length is 1 meter or 1000 millimeters in the length. So this is about the basic knowledge of the neuron. Let us look at the first part of the neuron is cell body. Okay, let's go into the cell body. Okay, if you want to screenshot it, you can take the screenshot. Next, the cyton. So the cyton is, this is the cyton. This portion is called, only this portion is called cyton. This cyton is also called as cell body or soma or perikaryon. So the cell body or cyton is also called as perikaryon, soma. Okay, and next, cell body. So it is, the cell body is surrounded by plasma lemma or plasma membrane. It is surrounded by plasma lemma or plasma membrane. Cyton has uninucleated. So this cyton, inside the cyton or cell body, there is one nucleus. This is a nucleus. Inside the nucleus there is a nucleolus. So the cyton, it contains uninucleated cytoplasm. This is cytoplasm. This cytoplasm is also called as neuroplasm. So the cyton of the cytoplasm is also called as neuroplasm. Inside the cytoplasm, except centrioles. So centrioles are totally absent in the nerve cell or neuron. All cell organelles like in mitochondria, Golgi bodies, endoplasmic reticulum and ribosomes. So except centrioles, other cell organelles are present. So no cell division because there is no centrioles. Due to the absence of centrioles, this neuron has no cell division capacity. So due to the absence of the centrioles, it doesn't have any division capacity. Inside the, you see here, inside the cytoplasm there are some granules, dot like structure. These are the granules. These granules are called Nissl granules. These granules are called Nissl granules. These Nissl granules are made up of endoplasmic reticulum and ribosomes. So these granules are the site of the protein synthesis in the nerve cell. And next, Nissl granules are made up of endoplasmic reticulum. See here, endoplasmic reticulum and ribosomes. And one more thing to be noted here, these Nissl granules are also called as tigroid bodies. Okay, the Nissl granules are found in the cytoplasm as well as dendrites. So if you observe here in the cytoplasm, Nissl granules or tigroid bodies are present. These Nissl granules present in the cyton of the cytoplasm as well as the dendrites or dendrons. So the dendrites also contains the Nissl granules. Along with the Nissl granules, there are some fibrils. These fibrils are called neurofibrils. So what is the use of, or what is the role of these neurofibrils? Means these neurofibrils help in the internal conduction of the cytoplasm of the cyton. So these neurofibrils help in internal conduction of this cyton or cytoplasm of the cyton. So this is the main role of the neurofibrils. So this is about the cell body or cyton. So next, let us see the dendrites or that means neurites. So neurites also, as you know, as I told earlier, neurites is the two types. One is these are the dendrites and the axon. So let us see the first dendrites. Next, dendrons. If you observe the cell body, there are some extensions of the cell membrane of the cell body. These extensions are called dendrons. So dendrons are the extensions of the cell membrane of the cyton. So dendrites contain some cytoplasm. So these dendrites also contain some cytoplasm. Not only the Nissl granules, some cytoplasm also present in the dendrites. And these dendrites receive the information from other neurons or receptors. So dendrites receive the information from the other neurons or receptors. So dendrites increase the surface area of the cell body. So what is the importance of these dendrites? Means these dendrites increase the surface area of the cyton or cell body. Next, dendrons are many in number. So if you observe the dendrons, they are in many in number. They are not having the uniform. They are not having the uniform in diameter. So they are in many number, but they are not having the uniform in diameter. And the dendrites and the cell body, are the receptor components of the neuron. So these dendrons or dendrites and this cell body together called receptor components of the neuron. Dendrites produce the centripetal conduction. So these dendrites produce centripetal conduction. What is meant by centripetal conduction? Actually, they receive the information or stimuli from other neurons or receptors. So whenever they receive the information, they produce the centripetal conduction. Centripetal conduction means the impulses or the information move towards the cell body. This is called the centripetal conduction. So the information moves towards the cell body. Whenever these dendrites receive the information, this kind of conduction is called centripetal conduction. So this is called centripetal conduction. Actually, one neuron or one nerve cell receives the information. One neuron or the one nerve cell receives the information nearly 10,000 neurons. So one neuron receives the information nearly 10,000 neurons. So dendrites are the sensory part of the neuron. So these dendrites are the sensory part of the neuron. Okay, so this is about the dendrites. So if you want the take it in a screenshot. Now you get the screenshot. The third part is called axon. Axon is the long process which is starting from the axon hillock. So axon is a long process. If you see here, this portion from here to here, this is called axon, which is long process. It is starting from the axon hillock region. So here, if you observe here, this portion is called axon hillock. So axon hillock means it is the part of the cyton from where the axon is arising from. That is called axon hillock. So the part of the cyton from where the axon starts is called axon hillock. This is the axon hillock. So axon hillock is also called as the neuron trigger zone. So this axon hillock is also called as neuron trigger zone. So the cytoplasm of the axon. So cell body contains the cytoplasm. So as well as axon also contains the cytoplasm. This cytoplasm is called exoplasm. So the cytoplasm of the axon is called as exoplasm, and exoplasm contains neurofibrils and mitochondria. So this exoplasm contains neurofibrils and mitochondria. The terminal, but if you see here, these dendrons or dendrites contains the cytoplasm as well as the micelle granules, but this axon hillock region and this exoplasm, that means axon, do not contain the micelle granules. Okay, so the terminal end of the axon are called telodendria. At the end part of the axon, this axon divides into many finger-like structures. These are called telodendria. So these telodendria are present at the end of the axon. Telodendria end into the certain bulb-like structures. If you see here, these telodendria end into the certain bulb-like structures. So these are the bulb-like structures. So these bulb-like structures are called synaptic nerves. Synaptic nerves. So synaptic nerves contain, inside the synaptic nerves, there are some vesicles. So these vesicles are called synaptic vesicles. So synaptic vesicles present inside the synaptic nerves. Telodendria have the more number of mitochondria. So these telodendria have the more number of mitochondria. So this is telodendria synthesize the neurotransmitter. So the telodendria, they synthesize neurotransmitter which is called as acetylcholine. So acetylcholine is one type of neurotransmitter, so which is synthesized by the telodendria. The acetylcholine is synthesized with the help of an enzyme that is called acetylcholine transferase. Acetylcholine transferase. So this acetylcholine transferase, it is an enzyme which helps in the formation or synthesis of the neurotransmitter. It is known as acetylcholine, which is produced in the telodendria. Next, it is stored in the synaptic vesicles. This acetylcholine, that means neurotransmitter, it is stored in this synaptic vesicles. So synaptic vesicles are present inside the synaptic nerve. So inside the synaptic vesicles, neurotransmitter, that means acetylcholine, is present. Next, axon transmits the impulse away from the cell body. So here already, as I said earlier, dendrons or dendrites, they receive the information from other neurons or other receptors. But here this axon, it sends the impulse or the information away from the cell body to the neuromuscular junction or synapse. So axon transmits the impulse or the information away from the cell body to the synapse or neuromuscular junction. Neuromuscular junction. So axon produce the centrifugal conduction. So this type of conduction, that means, so whenever dendrites, it conducts the centripetal. Centripetal means the information moves towards the cell body, but whereas in the centrifugal conduction, the information is being sent away from the cell body through the axon. So that kind of conduction is called centrifugal conduction. Centrifugal conduction, like this, from the cell body, the information moves towards the synapse or the neuromuscular junction. That kind of conduction is known as centrifugal conduction. Now you can see here the that around the axon. So this is axon. You see here some structures are present around the axon. This is called myelin sheath. This is myelin sheath. This myelin sheath is formed by the Schwann cells. So Schwann cells, these are the Schwann cells. These are the Schwann cells. So these Schwann cells are the one type of neuroglial cells. So these neuroglial or Schwann cells form the myelin sheath around the axon. So these Schwann cells, for example, you take it as this marker as an axon. So axon, around the axon, Schwann cells wrapping consecutive wrap of the Schwann cells. So this myelin sheath is formed. So myelin sheath is formed by the Schwann cells, or it's a one type of neuroglial cells. So these myelin sheath, next, the myelin sheath is also called medulla. So this myelin sheath is also called medulla. So medulla is otherwise known as myelin sheath. It is formed from the Schwann cells. Next, this myelin sheath is called medulla. Schwann cells form the myelin sheath. Formation of myelin sheath. So the formation of myelin sheath is called myelinogenesis or myelination. Or myelination. Next, Schwann cells are also called as neurilemmocytes. So these are the Schwann cells. This is one Schwann cell, this is another Schwann cell, this is another one, this is another one. These Schwann cells are also called as neurilemmocytes. In the PNS, the axon is covered by a layer of phospholipids or sphingomyelin sheath. In the peripheral nervous system, PNS means peripheral nervous system. In peripheral nervous system, the axon is covered by a layer of phospholipids, that is called sphingomyelin sheath, which is formed by the Schwann cells. So already I told you, Schwann cells are the one type of glial cells which are present in the peripheral nervous system, and these Schwann cells form the myelin sheet around the axon. So this myelin sheet actually the phospholipid layer. Next, myelin sheet or medulla. So as I said, myelin sheet is also called as medulla, is covered by a thin membrane. So if you see here, if you observe here, so this if you cut the myelin sheet axon here, myelin sheet is the cross section, transverse section of the axon through this Schwann cell, you can see like this. It will be appear like this. Here the middle black portion is the axon, and around the axon there is one red color layer. That red color layer is called axolemma, which is surrounded by the axon. Which next one. So this red color layer which surrounds the axon is called axolemma, and here the Schwann cell, it surrounds the axon. So these layers from here to here, these layers are called myelin sheet, and the external portion of the Schwann cell, see here myelin sheet or medulla is covered by the thin membrane, this myelin sheet. So this portion is called myelin sheet. So this myelin sheet actually is secreted by or formed by the Schwann cells. So that myelin sheet actually it is the phospholipid layer. So outer layer of the myelin sheet or this external portion of the myelin sheet, it is called as neurolemma or neurilemma. This is the neurilemma. Actually neurilemma is also it is a part of the Schwann cell. So but myelin sheet also is a part of the Schwann cell. But neurilemma, what is the difference between neurilemma and myelin sheet? Myelin sheet is a tightly wrapped plasma membrane of the cell membrane of the Schwann cell around the axon, but neurolemma or neurilemma is the including cytoplasm and nucleus in the Schwann cell, that is called neurolemma. So that neurolemma, it is the external part of the Schwann cell. So myelin sheet. Myelin sheet is covered by the neurilemma or neurolemma. So this is the Schwann cell, and this is the Schwann cell's nucleus, and this part is the neurilemma or neurolemma. Inside the neurolemma cell there is cytoplasm is present. Okay, so neurolemma are the sheet of Schwann cell, that is called the neurolemma or sheet of Schwann cell. Next, myelinogenesis is a different. So myelinogenesis, what is myelinogenesis? Formation of the myelin sheet in the peripheral nervous system around the axon, that is called myelinogenesis. But this myelinogenesis is a different way when compared to the CNS and PNS. In the CNS, central nervous system, we must know about the myelinogenesis in the PNS as well as the CNS. In the CNS, Schwann cells are absent. See here. In the CNS, central nervous system, Schwann cells are totally absent. In the CNS, myelin sheet is formed by the oligodendrocytes. As I said earlier, Schwann cells are also one type of neuroglial cells. In the same way, oligodendrocytes are the one type of neuroglial cells. These neuroglial cells form the myelin sheet in the CNS. Oligodendrocytes are special type of supporting cells, and these are called the neuroglial cells. Schwann cells are also one type of neuroglial cells. So oligodendrocytes are also one type of neuroglial cells, but oligodendrocytes present only in the CNS, which form the myelin sheet in the central nervous system, whereas in Schwann cells are present in the peripheral nervous system, which form the myelin sheet around the axon. So this is the main difference between the formation of the myelin sheet or the myelinogenesis in the CNS and PNS. Okay, myelin sheet is not continuous. It is discontinuous at many places. These places are called node of Ranvier. So the myelin sheath is not continuously present in the axon. It is discontinuous at some regions. So these places are called nodes of Ranvier. If you see here, this is the myelin sheath. So there are some gaps on the axon. So these gaps are called node of Ranvier. And also this myelin sheath is not present at the axon hillock and near the telodendria, where the axon divides into some branches like structures. So at the place of the telodendria and this axon hillock region do not contain the myelin sheath. And some places these myelin sheath also discontinuous. Some places, some regions, these gaps are called node of Ranvier. The myelin sheath is white in color. So actually the myelin sheath is in white in color. And the myelin sheath acts as an insulator and it works. The main function of the myelin sheath is it functions or it acts as an insulator. So insulator means it prevents the leakage of ions. So myelin sheath, it works, it acts as an insulator. So as an insulator, it prevents the leakage of ions. Some neurons do not have the myelin sheath. So normally some neurons have the myelin sheath and some do not have myelin sheath. But the myelin sheath contain the neurons. That means which is have the myelin sheath. Neurons with myelin sheath is called myelinated neurons. Some neurons have the myelin sheath. Such neurons are called myelinated neurons or the myelinated nerve fibers, and also called medullated neuron. Why? Because myelin sheath is also called medulla. That's why the myelinated neurons are also otherwise known as medullated neuron. Neuron without myelin sheath is called non-myelinated neuron. So some neurons are not having the myelin sheath. Such neurons are called non-myelinated neuron or non-medullated nerve fibers. But the neurons which do not have the myelin sheath, those neurons also have the Schwann cells. But these Schwann cells do not form the myelin sheath around the axon. See here, this is the axon. So non-myelinated neurons also have the Schwann cells. Not only myelinated neurons have the Schwann cells, but non-myelinated neurons also have the Schwann cells. But in these neurons, the myelin sheath is not formed by the Schwann cells. So here the Schwann cells this is the Schwann cell, and this middle portion of this middle portion is the axon. So the Schwann cell wraps around the axon incompletely. It do not surround. It is not surrounded by completely around the axon. So that's why such a neurons are called non-myelinated neurons. So both myelinated and non-myelinated neurons have the Schwann cells, but myelinated neurons have the myelin sheath, but non-myelinated neurons do not have the Schwann, that means myelin sheath. The non-myelinated nerve fiber is having the Schwann cells. So as I said, the non-myelinated neurons also have the Schwann cells, but the Schwann cells does not form the myelin sheath around the axon. See here. So this is the axon and this is the Schwann cell. This Schwann cell does not form the myelin sheath around the axon. Whereas in myelinated neuron, the Schwann cells wrapped around the axon, consequent wrapped. So here the myelin sheath is formed by the Schwann cells. Okay, myelinated neurons are present in the cranial and spinal nerves. So, the methylated or myelinated neurons. These neurons especially are present or found in the cranial and spinal nerves. So, the cranial nerves and spinal nerves have the myelinated neurons. But non-myelinated neurons are found only in the autonomous nervous system. So, autonomous nervous system, they have the non-myelinated or non-methylated neurons. Now, we must know what is the difference between dendrite and axon. Let us see the differences between dendrite and axon. So, here dendrite. So, dendrites are dendrites one or more in number. So, if you see the dendrites here, these are the cytoplasmic extensions of the cell body. So, they are one or more in number. And if you see the axon is a single. It is long process, and Nissil granules are present in the dendrites. So, Nissil granules are present in the dendrites, while in the axon, Nissil granules are totally absent. No Nissil granules are in the axon. And these are the dendrites are the small and branched. So, if you see the dendrites, they are very small and branched and finger-like projections. But it is the axon is the long and unbranched process. Long and unbranched process. And next, here the conduction of that means dendrons receive the information of the pulse from the other neurons, and the movement of these impulse or information towards the cell body. So, dendrites conduct the centripetal conduction. That means the movement of the conduction is towards the cell body. So, this is called centripetal conduction. So, centripetal conduction occurs in the dendrites, and centrifugal conduction occurs in the axon. Centrifugal conduction means this axon carries the information away from the cell body to the synapse or the neuromuscular junction. And last one is these dendrites are not in uniform in diameter. If you see the dendrites, they are branch-like structures, and in diameter they are not in uniform in diameter. But axon, it is uniform in throughout the length in diameter. So this is the basic difference between dendrites and axon. And now let us see the final last one, gray matter and white matter. What is meant by gray matter and what is meant by white matter? Okay. And one more thing to be noted here, so these Nissil granules are invented by the scientist. That scientist was neuropathologist. So he invented the Nissil granules. His name was Franz. Note, Nissil's granules are discovered or invented by the scientist Franz Nissil. So that's why these granules are called Nissil granules. First let us see the gray matter. So gray matter, it consists of non-myelinated neurons. So the gray matter consists of non-myelinated neurons. Why? Because actually myelin sheath is white in color, which is formed by the Schwann cells. So due to the white in color, but here the gray matter, they don't have the myelinated neurons. They have only the non-myelinated neurons. So it appears gray in color. And myelin sheath is not present. Here in gray matter, myelin sheath is not present. And only cell bodies are present. In gray matter, all cell bodies are present, but not in the myelin sheet is not present and axons are not present. Only cell bodies are present in the gray matter. That's why it looks like a gray matter, gray in color. And gray matter is found only in the periphery in the brain. So if you observe the brain, in brain gray matter is present only outer portion. That means the periphery region contains the gray matter. Why? Because in this gray matter, all the cell bodies of the neurons are present. All the cell bodies of the neurons are present in the gray matter. So in the brain, gray matter is present in the periphery, the outer portion. And in spinal cord, the gray matter is present in middle portion. If you observe the spinal cord, this is the TS of spinal cord. That means transverse section of the spinal cord. In the spinal cord, gray matter is present in the middle portion. In the middle portion, the cell bodies of the neurons are present. That's why it appears gray in color. And next come to the white matter. So white matter basically it consists of myelinated neurons. So the myelinated neurons surrounded by the Schwann cells. These Schwann cells form the myelin sheet. So as you know, myelin sheet is the white in color. So due to the white in color, they appear white color. That's why it consists of myelinated neurons. So here myelin sheet is present in the white matter. So myelin sheet present in the white matter. So axons of the neurons only present in this white matter. Axons of the neurons are present. So due to the presence of myelin sheet and only axons of the myelin sheet is present in the white matter, it appears white in color. So in case of the brain, white matter is present in the middle portion. And why? Because in these regions only axons are present. So these axons surrounded by the Schwann cells, and Schwann cells secrete or form the myelin sheet. So myelin sheet is white in color. That's why in the middle portion of the brain is white in color. In case of the spinal cord, the white portion is present in the periphery. So this periphery portion contains the medullated neuron. That means myelin sheet is present. That's why this periphery portion of the spinal cord is white in color. So this is the basic difference, gray matter and white matter. Students, this is the all about structure of neuron. If you like my videos, please subscribe my channel and share it and click the like button and comment in the comment section so that you can get my videos as the notifications. And thank you. Keep watching. Stay tuned.